Welcome to the Activity Call Live. Now, let's hear it for our special guest host, Eric Bellaire.
What's going on? Oh, this is Eric Bellaire coming to you live from Melbourne, Florida, where we aim high to enjoy that pie, baby. Bobby and I, Director Annie and Jane Albright, we are honored to do the activity call today. And no, I'm not going to stay in this nice-looking beard all day. I can't do that. It's hot. It's fogging up my glasses. I can't keep the weapon in my hand. Look good. Don't I look sharp? Look, I'm going hunting. I'm hunting all the time when I'm out there in the field. I'm hunting all the time when I'm in the appointments. And I'm going to show you what I mean by, are you in the hunt? And what are you hunting for on a day-to-day basis when you're sitting in front of clients? So we're going to get started today. What do you hunt for while in an appointment? In the home, over the phone, because I know we got people out there doing phone appointments, or even in your office. And I've got to say, thank God for seminars. Let me tell you, folks, I am off to the greatest start of a year I've had in the last 17 years with the Alliance. And I own a car specifically for running appointments that I've wrapped. You've all seen it, or those of you who haven't, it's wrapped. It's really cool looking. I haven't driven that car one time this year. And I used to run like a banshee in the field. Okay, we're talking 73,000 miles my first year doing this, working 8 different counties. I haven't had to leave my office except to do the seminars, and all the clients are coming to me. And if you didn't hear what I said, I'm having the best year I've ever had with the Alliance when it comes to income this year so far. And it isn't letting up. And by the way, God, I'm a believer. I'm a believer. And I know God has plans, and it's awesome the way he does things. And I'm going to tell you something. For those of you who don't know, I have a severe heel issue, and I'm going to have a major surgery on March 11th. But when I drive more than 15 minutes, the pain is so excruciating, this Marine sweats from his eyes. And I can't do nothing about that pain. And I can't be, of course, heavily on opioids. So I have to have this surgery to fix it, and hopefully it will repair it. And it's going to take time to recover from that surgery. But the thing is could you believe that this is all happening and I don't have to be driving? Bobby's driving me to the office, driving Bobby back home again. But if I still had to be driving, oh my God, it's unbelievable. If you're not doing seminars, if you not know about the estate planning seminars, you are missing out. But anyhow, this isn't an estate planning seminar activity call, but I just want to touch on that there. Check this out. Here we got, my battery ain't working. Let me hit this one. So check this out. Hold on a second. I apologize. Have a little technical thing here. Go back into it. There we go. Great successful hunters hunt for the client's why. You got to know their why. They hunt for the pain, and they hunt for every opportunity in the appointment. That's what great successful hunters do when they're on a sales call. Let me tell you, the why, I mean, we have some great trainings on how to discover the why. One of the things that I'm doing in my intake appointments is what I learned at the trainings, and asking people like, why did you come to the seminar in the first place? Why did you agree to meet with me here at my office after listening to my seminar? When you sit with a client with the final expense lead, what was on your mind when you sent this in? When you're sitting with a client with a mortgage protection lead, what was on your mind when you sent this in? Why did you send it in? And you start to unravel what it is that concerns them, what it is that is the problem they're having, or the pain they're feeling of what they need to have a solution for. So I'm going to tell you that we have to find the why. And there's great questions out there that you can discover in the ATM. We're going to get to that too, to help you to uncover that why. And you got to find the pain. And when you find the pain, I'm going to talk about it later in our call today, is what you got to do when you find that pain, how you react, okay? But you got to hunt for every opportunity. I understand that a client asks for final expense, and it's our job to deliver them that particular product. But once you do that job, you have every right to tell them what else you do and how you can help them. And then you bam fam, book a meeting from a meeting. It was awesome yesterday on the estate planning seminar call where Scott Garcia didn't know what that was. And somebody had texted, he goes, bam fam. And then he goes, it sounds cool though. We got bam fam, book a meeting from a meeting. And you keep on repeating it with the same client over and over. And sometimes you don't need to book a meeting from a meeting, depending on what the other add-on is or the other opportunity you found. It's pretty cool. Great hunters know the best way to find the why and the pain, and every opportunity is by asking questions. By asking questions. And by the way, quality questions. Quality questions. The weapon of choice for a great hunter, I just being funny here, it's the question bow, baby. It's the question bow. That's how you hit your target, by asking questions. Great questions help you find the path that nobody else sees. Oh my God. You won't believe it. I got to get to the next slide because it rhymes like I do. Allowing you to see the forest through the trees. And what I mean by that is you won't believe how many times in the last 16 and a half years I'm running in the field and I go behind agents who have blinders on. They're narrow-minded, and they don't see the forest through the trees. They don't see everything else they can do for that client. So I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If God ever came down to me and said, Eric, you can only work with clients behind door number A or door number B, you're not allowed to commingle them anymore, I'm putting my foot down. Behind door number A, all those people already own life insurance. Behind door number B, letter number B, none of them own life insurance. You choose the one you're going to work with, but you only can work in one for the rest of your career. I don't know which one you choose, but I know I'm choosing A. And you might be going like, what? They already have life insurance. Well, that's a good sign, isn't it? Hey, they're believers now. I don't really have to worry about changing their mind. Hey, they're believers now. Are they in a Superman product? Do they know the products that they have? Do they know what they do down the road? Do they know if they rear their ugly heads when they get older because of a price increase or a decrease in face amount, or it expires before they die, or when they think they're going to die? But when I get to sit with a believer who already owns product, I get to sit there and say, oh, by the way, let me show you other things we can help you with to strengthen your situation. Oh, by the way, I see you didn't get your grandkids covered. Oh, by the way, I see you didn't get your spouse covered. Oh, by the way, I didn't see that you got your 401k protected. Oh, by the way, did you know we're hiring? I mean, the most powerful, in my opinion, I know there's $1 million annuities out there, but the most powerful thing you can get out of a home is a hungry agent. Bar none. Every single client I sit with knows I'm hiring. Whether they're doing it, whether they want a cousin or a nephew or a daughter or a son to do it, I got to let every single one of them know I'm hiring. Because that's the most powerful thing you can bring out of a home, second to none. Not a Medicare sale, not a $1 million annuity, not a $4,000 a month IUL, but a recruit who listens, who wants to learn, and is a hungry hippo, baby. So be hunting for those hungry hippos. So let me tell you something. You got to see the forest through the trees. My favorite question when I'm hunting for a life insurance sale, and I've said this before and I'll say it again because this is important. When you're sitting with somebody who's looking for mortgage protection, when you're sitting with somebody who's looking for a final expense, when you're sitting with somebody who just is looking for a term life insurance policy, for income replacement, for college planning for their children, whatever it may be, but they're looking for life insurance. They're looking for a death benefit. My favorite, and they've agreed to meet with you. You're sitting with them in their home. You're sitting with them in your office. You're sitting with them over the phone, making a phone sales call. This may not be your favorite question, but it's my favorite question. I sit there and I say to them, let me ask you something, Andy. Let me ask you something, Jane. Are your mom and dad still alive and well? Are your mom and dad still with us? Are your grandparents still with us? Are your grandparents still alive and well? Now, of course, that leads you to some follow-up questions, but the main thing is I'm trying to find out whether their parents are alive. And there's several different reasons why. But the main reason is once I find out a death has occurred and they say, no, my dad is no longer with us, or no, my mom is no longer with us, or no, my grandparents are no longer with us. And by the way, we hired a young lady the other day who's young, so her parents are both still alive, and all of her grandparents except for one. And I was going through this role play with her and discovered the one grandparent who had passed away. And by the way, you can be sitting with young people that all of their grandparents and parents are alive, and I'll get to that next question that you have to ask, because we're trying to find their experience with death. We're trying to find what they found through the death of a loved one that occurred. So the person says to me, Andy says to me, Eric, I've lost my father. I would sit there and say, Andy, do you remember how old he was when he died? And Andy would sit there and say, Eric, I'm pretty sure he was 77 years old. And I would sit there and I would say, I'm sorry to hear that. My dad died at 87. How did your dad die, Andy? And Andy would tell me Parkinson's or heart attack or cancer. And he would give me the explanation of how his dad died. And I would sit there and say, Andy, I got an important question to ask you. When your dad died, do you remember, by the way, how old do you think you were? I was 44, Eric. Okay. So you're an adult. You have a good memory back. It's not many years ago. So let me ask you something, Andy. When your dad died, do you remember if he had a plan in place that helped the family financially? Because I know we all go through emotional pain when we lose a loved one. But a lot of people go through the financial pain on top of it, which is devastating. And I'm just curious to know if your dad had a plan in place to help the family, your mother, to take care of things that needed to be taken care of upon his death. Or did he not have a plan in place and you guys went through a lot of financial pain as well? And I pause and I shut up and I wait for the answer, and Andy's going to tell me. And I don't care how he answers that question. I want you to follow me here. Eric, my dad had a plan in place. It was a beautiful plan. He might even go and elaborate. It paid off the mortgage. It helped me go to college. It helped my brother go to college. It did this. He might elaborate. And I'm going to look at him, what he's done, and I'm going to say to him, Andy, I promise you this. I'm not leaving here today until we do what your dad did for your family. Agreed? Andy's going to say, yes, of course. I want to do what my dad did. Agreed. Let's get it done, Bo. Now, he could look at me and say, Eric, you know what? This is painful to say, and it's bringing back horrible memories, but my dad had no plan in place. Not only did we lose my dad that day, we lost our mother because our mother had to take on 2 other jobs, and we never saw her. I didn't get to go to college like I planned. We lost the house and had to move into an apartment, and things were devastating. We had to borrow money to bury him. It was horrible. Andy, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm going to tell you something right now, Andy. I promise you, I'm not leaving here today until we do what your dad should have done. Agreed? Come on, folks. Come on now. Now, by the way, if they say yes, that all their grandparents are alive and all their parents are alive, they sent in a piece of paper. They've agreed to meet with you. You're sitting at their home. I don't think they're lunatics. I mean, there are a few, but I think they have some inkling to what they're wanting for some reason. So then my question would be, have you known anybody to die? When's the last time you've been to a funeral? Have you lost a friend or a relative? And once I find out that they have, then I'm going to ask those same questions. I know that you're not a part of that family, your uncles. I know that you're not a part of that friend's family that you lost, but I'm just curious to know, do you remember or not, whether they had a plan or not? And I'm going to go through the same thing. Yes, I'm not leaving here tonight until you do what they did. Agreed? No, I'm not leaving here tonight until you do what they should have done. Agreed? I don't know. It's worked for me. It's worked for me. And I'm not telling you that it's the magic spice, but it does offer something nice to the conversation to help you, help them get a solution in place. Again, how you respond and react is critical to the answers, to the questions you're asking. How you respond and react is critical. Okay? I've messed up over the years. Bad. Like when I ask a person about a policy and I see something that's insanely crazy, I have to hold my lip. And one time I didn't. I screwed up and I laughed. I went like, oh my God, I can't believe you bought this. And it was almost something to that nature. And it was just, it was, as soon as it came out of my mouth, I went like, oh God. Because I basically embarrassed the client or made the client feel stupid, that they would be so foolish to be swayed into purchasing something that was so inferior and not a Superman product. She proceeded to say, you know what? I don't trust any insurance agent. I don't trust any insurance company. I ain't doing anything. I'm going to cancel this. You get out of my house. Because I had lost the credibility. I'd lost the genuineness of caring. I almost did it the other day. Again, and I had to hold my tongue. One of my seminar clients, I just did an intake appointment for, and I just moved some of their money into an annuity. And there's other money that I can't move into annuity. For some strange reason, they did three. They only have one daughter. But for some strange reason, some person at their bank, and a bank, I guess the bank they bank with, had an agent that deals with insurance companies. I didn't know banks did that, but you learn something new every day. But they deal with insurance companies that do MIGAs, like we do MIGAs. And they put $100,000 in a 7-year MIGA, another $100,000 in a different 7-year MIGA, and another $100,000 in another 7-year MIGA. And the guaranteed interest rate's only 4.8. And they just did this. And I'm thinking to myself, I got a 3-year MIGA that's 5.25. And this guy's 73. Now, this is non-qualified money, but he's 73. And they're telling me this is money they want to live on. I'm going like, this doesn't make any sense. But I had to be very careful. I said, you know what? It's not bad. It's just not something I would have recommended you do. And I don't understand why they did 3 separate ones instead of just putting them into one. And I don't know why they put you in a 7-year for that low of an interest rate guarantee when you could have got a better guarantee interest rate. But again, you didn't know what you didn't know and you were just going with the flow. And unfortunately, now that you've just did it, I can't touch it for 2 years because that's the law on an annuity placement. I got to wait 2 years to replace an annuity. And that's even if you want to do it at that point, which they're looking at, and we're going to talk in 2 years. But I had to be very careful because they could have been upset at me for making them feel ridiculous. But so it's critical how you respond and react to the answers that they give you and to what you discover in the hunt. Because in the hunt, you're going to discover some crazy things. Their answers will show you them. The answers will help you show them a clear, simple solution. I dare put the word simple, better solution, because a lot of my business is replacement business. Moving a client out of Gerber and Globe into Forrester's Child Whole Life, moving a client out of Colonial Penn into a Transamerica Final Expense. So I'm showing them a simple, better solution. And everybody wants simple. Nobody wants difficult. So go ahead, back again. And I'm going to be talking about annuities here in a second because this is important. That same client's got a lot of money and their husband and wife. And one of them has money in a place where, because it's over 100 grand, they need a medallion signature stamp. And if you have moved annuities and you don't know what that is, it's something that's it's a roadblock. It's an obstacle. It's a hurdle. Not that you can't jump the hurdle and get through the obstacle, but it's just something that causes it to be not so simple. And clients like to make things very simple and seamless and easy. And when the companies who make it difficult or more arduous for them to roll their money or move their money, the client just throws up their hands and say, forget about it. And that's not the correct answer, to just forget about it and leave it where it's at. But I dug a little further on the call because I knew the pain of getting a medallion signature, and I've been through it before. And I said, let me ask you something. You're saying because his is under 100, he doesn't need a medallion signature. Hers is 198,000, and it's because it's over 100, she needs a medallion signature. And the guy didn't offer it up. I asked. I said, what if we just move 99,000 and then we request the other amount after the first amount is moved? And the guy went, I guess you could do that. And after I hung up with him, I looked right at them and I said, this is what we're going to do. And the lady looked at me and she says, oh, I figured that out as soon as you were talking to him. I knew you were going to do. So we're doing two different moves for her, and she's going to end up with two different annuity policies because they're not going to wait for the other one. But I got to make it a simple solution, not an arduous, painful solution that they have to jump through hoops and hurdles and all this other stuff. My favorite question, we're on annuities. This is cool, right? My favorite question, and by the way, there's a lot of questions. My God, it even starts on the phone when I'm booking an appointment. Like, what do you do for a living? How long you work there? Have you been planning for retirement? Is that a 401k? Is that a pension? Oh, you've left Pepsi Cola. Well, what did you do with your 401k? Those are other questions too to discover the money, right? I'm on a hunt. I'm hunting, and everything I uncover, everything I find, I'm going to target because that's my job, is to help the family within my purview of what I can do. But my favorite question on an annuity sale is, can you afford to lose any of your retirement money? Bob, Sally, Joe, Sarah, can you afford at your age in this time of your life, can you afford to lose any of this money? Now, knowing where they have it, knowing where it's sitting, if the answer to that is no, they can't, and 99.99999999999 say no, I can't, I sit there and say simply, can I ask you a question? Then why do you have it where it's at? Why do you have it where it's at? Because it's at risk. And let me elaborate. By the way, this is where I love showing the graph, and this is what I mean by elaborate. And by the way, before I turn the slide, I never get a yes to this question. If you get a yes to that question, I mean, that's just a crazy answer. Yes, I can afford to lose some of my retirement money. I don't know about that, But anyhow, if you have not seen this graph, I love this graph. I laminated this graph. I use this graph. This is a graph that I love. And let me just describe it to you. When you're dealing with a person where you found an opportunity, where you've hunted down a 401k, where you've hunted down a TSP, where you've hunted down a 403b, where you've hunted down a 457b, and now you're sitting there and you're saying to them, listen, Linda, listen. Here in 2001, we all know what happened. Our country was attacked by terrorists. Here in 2008, we all know what happened. We had the big bank fiasco, mortgage fiasco, where people even believed the government facilitated it and was part of it. And then, of course, out here, I don't have it on the graph, but we've now also been through the pandemic. and the COVID disaster. And I say these things just because I say them. You don't have to repeat anything I say, but I sit there and say, and people believe that was orchestrated. And there's conspiracy theories that believe that that was done intentionally. I just put my hands up like this. I just throw it out there because it's out there. I'm not saying what I believe. And they go, yeah, I know. But now watch what I do to build that emotion. Because it's not just a fear of losing money when you're talking about these market crashes. So follow along with me on this. I say to them, the green line is our annuity product. And during these collapses, our clients didn't lose a penny. Our clients didn't lose a nickel. Our clients slept like babies because zero is your hero when the market goes upside down. You don't take a loss. But not only did these people in 2001, John, Mary, lose their money, and I do this with a pen. I put a line through the red line a couple times. They lost their marriages. They lost their families. They lost their health. They had heart attacks and strokes. And some people took their lives. During 2008, during the mortgage crisis, people lost their marriages. People lost their families. People lost their health, their sanity. People had strokes and heart attacks. And people took their own lives because they were losing everything. And they had a fear of not getting it back because they were too old to be able to earn it back. And the fact of the matter is, our product protects more than your money. Our product protects your way of life. Our product protects your health and your marriage and your sanity. And now they're thinking about the product even more. So that's why I love this graph. By the way, another thing I throw out there, because it's not all about questions, it's about statements. Like I said, the statement, some people think that was a government. The statements make their head spin. By the way, I also love telling them to watch a movie here called The Big Short. I know we like to stay away from TV, but there are some great movies out there, inspirational movies out there. The movie The Big Short's a great movie. That movie called The Big Short, if you watch it about 2008, your stomach will turn. Your stomach will turn. And I tell clients to watch it because if it happened once, here's the next question on all of these things. If it happened already in our lifetime, do you think another terrorist attack can happen again? And I have not had one client say no. Every time I ask that question, do you think it's possible that in your lifetime we could have another terrorist attack? And they all say yes. And I say, then you don't want to have your money where you have it right now. 2, do you think in our lifetime the government and big bad banks can get together and make big bad decisions that can cause big bad problems again? Every single client says yes. I haven't had one client look at me and say, absolutely not, the program's been fixed. Not once. And over here on the pandemic, do you think in today's world and what we're doing, we could face another pandemic in your lifetime? And every single one of them has said yes. And it's a follow-up statement. Then why have your money where you have it? It's a very emotional slide because people's money is very emotional to them. Their retirement's very emotional to them. By the way, and this is a fact, and you can check it out. It's out there. It's true. People have said the number one fear is fear of death. It's not. People out there say the number one fear is fear of public speaking. It's not. The number one fear is the fear of outliving your money. The fear of having no money left and you're still alive and you can't even eat without depending on the government or begging. That's the biggest fear people have. Oh, by the way, one more thing. I like to point out money go up, money goes down, money came to stay. This is when I discover in the hunt that somebody has retirement money. It depends on how you respond and react. It's critical. Their answers will help you show them a clear, simple solution to protecting their retirement money and not outliving their retirement money. It's pretty cool. My favorite question when hunting for a Medicare sale, and I go hunting for Medicare, baby. I mean, I hunt for Medicare. I invest in leads. You can invest in leads. You can invest in Medicare seminars. Holy smokes, baby. Medicare seminars. Talk to Cindy Seal. For a client who already has a Medicare plan, Medicare Advantage plan, my favorite question to ask that client, if they've agreed to sit with me and agreed to meet with me, there's got to be a reason, right? There's got to be something on their mind, right? What would you change in your current plan if you could? What would you change? And based on the answers they're giving me, I know how to navigate and direct them to a plan that will satisfy that issue. I need more dental. I need more vision. I need more hearing. I need lower copays. I need lower drug costs. I need to be able to go to this doctor. I need cataract surgery. I need something that the plan I'm currently in is not giving me, and I'm now going to help them find a plan that will. And of course, there's a lot of other questions that are involved. I'm just giving you a top question, one of the premier questions, in my opinion, to ask that client that you're sitting with, who's agreed to sit with you, who already is in a Medicare Advantage plan. And watch where it leads you and how it helps you to help them. And by the way, I got to say it again, and I'll probably say it later on. If you haven't known me long, and if this is your first watching of me doing a training, I'm hoping you sense some passion in me. I'm hoping you sense some sort of genuineness in me, that I'm truly out there for the client. And I truly want to be a blessing to the client. And I truly want to be a difference maker to the client. I want to leave them better off than I found them in every aspect that I can help them with. And by doing that, my phone rings out of the blue. Rings out of the blue. The new agent, Nee, who I hired, I gave her all my old leads, and she booked an appointment with one of my old leads. And I said, fantastic, fantastic. She's younger than me. She's a woman. I'm a man. I'm older than her. The person she booked an appointment with was a widow. Who knows why she didn't want to deal with me, but she's dealing with me. I don't know. I'm just pointing out things, right? But I said to her, my new agent, I said, listen, you've got a golden opportunity now to, when you sit with this lady and you're able to help this lady, and she sees how genuine you are and how good you are at what you do and the good you're trying to do, she will tell other people about you. And that's what you want. You want to get referrals up front, but you want to get referrals for the rest of her life as she remembers you when she finds other people in need and knows what you can do for those people in need. So on that, I got a call yesterday or the day before, crazy call. Usually the people know who it is that's referring them to me. You know, hey, I got, Eric Bellaire, Andy Albright, Marcus Richardson, they talk about it. This guy called me, hey, listen, man, I got a lady named Denise from 7-Eleven up here in Merritt Island, told me to call you. A lady at 7-Eleven named Denise told this guy to call me about Medicare. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? I know it's a client of mine who works at a 7-Eleven possibly, but this guy just knew her as Denise at 7-Eleven, and I'm going, I don't know who that is. And then I had another guy call me up that was referred to me by Robin, and I did his Medicare last night, and it was so cool because it's recorded. You got to record these things over the phone, and you only can do like that. But at the end of it, he says to me, I didn't have to say it to him, and I couldn't anyhow. It was a Medicare sale. It's all being recorded. He says to me, oh, by the way, Robin tells me you can help me with life insurance as well. And I said, yes, I can, but I can't talk to you about that tonight. Let's schedule a time next week. So I'm calling him at 10 o'clock on Monday morning. So this lady named Robin feels so greatly about what I did for her. She told this guy not only to call me for Medicare, but to call me about life insurance. Because I wasn't just narrow-minded and only told her I only do one thing. By the way, I think I showed this from stage before. I created this business card, and these are big posters in my office as well. On the back of my card, it tells people, I do life insurance. Don't leave Earth without it. I do Medicare Advantage plans. The right choice could save you hundreds of dollars a year. I do annuities. The road to a happy, protected retirement. I do estate planning. Be kind. Don't leave your family in a bind. Tax-free retirement. Retirement is for relaxing, so let us help you stop the taxing. Hospital indemnity. Unexpected medical bills are no thrills. But people know what I do. Do they know what you do and how you can help them? Their answers, again, will help you show them. Now, this one, because they're already a Medicare client, now you're just looking and showing them a simple alternative and how simple it is to choose that alternative during the proper season, allowing them to move Medicare plans. The questions that I ask when I'm hunting for a new Medicare sale, a client that's new to Medicare, who's never been on Medicare before. Do you have doctors you really love and don't want to lose in a plan? What medications do you take? What is the most important out of these three? Dental, vision, or hearing? Do you have any of the following chronic illnesses? Heart, diabetes, COPD. The answers to those questions, because I asked them, will help me get them into the right plan. So instead of focusing on a single tree, see the forest, every opportunity you can help a client with. Every opportunity you can help a client with. More quality questions lead you to more opportunities to write more applications in the home. I mean, I like that statement so much, I'm going to read it again. More quality questions lead you to more opportunities to write more applications in the home. And, you know, when listen, I know what you're going through because I did it too. I remember I was an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes from my home when I first came into this company back in 2008-9. I was broke, busted, and disgusted. I was losing everything. Cars were being taken from me. I was in foreclosure on my home. I was selling everything out of my house. It was one of those foreclosures where I sold the air conditioner. I sold the fence. I'm sorry. I had to do what I had to do to take care of my family. But I was so excited at this one house. The guy had done a deal for $284 a month. And back then it was different. We didn't have e-apps. We didn't have this. We didn't have that. You know, you needed to take a check. They didn't do the future draft. The guy even fed me, for the first time in my life, I never had oxtail. I had oxtail. It was way out in Claremont, hour and 45 minutes, hour and a half where I was living. So I drive home, and I'm all excited. I call my wife. I got a $284 deal. And by the way, that's all I was focused on back then. I just needed to feed my family. I wasn't even thinking about any other opportunity to help the guy with that we had in our arsenal. And back then, our arsenal was smaller. It was smaller. But we still did have other items in our arsenal, like accidental death and the opportunity to protect retirement money. And then we had mortgage protection, and I was helping with mortgage protection. But I didn't talk about those other things I could have because I was just going in there narrow-minded. But the problem, I was so narrow-minded, I forgot to get his check. So I'm all excited, all fired up. I get home, I can't find the check. And I realized, I don't think I ever got the check. So I called the guy up, and this is really what added salt to the wound. I mean, it literally added salt to the wound. The guy goes, no problems. I'm sorry. Yeah, just come back out here and get it. I don't know if he thought I only lived 10 minutes away, 5 minutes away, 20 minutes away. But I said, okay, fine, I'll be out there tomorrow to go get it. I go out there the next day to go get it, and I get to his house, and guess what he tells me? You hear it. You know it. I changed my mind. Talking about wanting to take a weapon. Man, I'm trying to let you know that you are going to face adversity. You are going to face issues, but your job is to serve the client and to help the client. We're looking for electrons, protons, neutrons, megatrons. And during that hunt, we're going to run into a lot of morons. And nothing you can do about that. Nothing you can do about that. By these more quality questions asked and the more opportunities found and the more applications to write, we got hospital indemnity plans. Hospital indemnity plans. We've got mortgage protection. We've got child whole life. That is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. If you don't know about it, compared to the other companies who offer child whole life. We have tax-free retirement plans. We have disability income standalone plans. We have annuity retirement protection. We have annuity accumulation protection. We have death enhancement annuities. We have annuities for money you need to live on and money you want to leave behind. We have accidental death. We have estate plan implementation. We have Medicare, and we have recruit in the home opportunity. These things can come to be if you're asking the right questions and you're finding the opportunity. The ATM provides you with great questions to ask. If you haven't got the ATM, you need to go to ARC, you need to go on the resources, you need to print it, you need to go, under Alliance University, you need to print it, you need to build it, you need to have it. Because it's a guide to guide you through the appointment and to make sure you don't miss an opportunity. And there's a lot more questions in the ATM. So follow the ATM to hit your opportunity targets. Follow the ATM to hit your opportunity targets. Again, if you don't have the ATM, I'd strongly recommend you get it today. Listen, this is Walt Disney World right here. On Walt Disney World. Walt Disney said this. I never knew Walt Disney said this. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. I think Andy Albright said that just now on the pre-call to this call about Thailand. If you're going to win the trip, start doing. Start doing it now. Start doing what you need to do now. I don't know if you can read this. I think you can. Don't be afraid of the big bad forest. Ooh. Don't be afraid of the big bad forest. You need to eat. And the food is in the big bad forest. I'd be more afraid of starving to death than the fear of hunting for my food. I know it can be scary. I know it can be a little fraidy cat. But you need to eat, and that's where your food is at. In the field, in the appointment, in the home, on the phone. Most people don't start doing because they are frozen in fear. Fear of what? Fear of what? I've never been slapped over the phone. I can't be. I've never been slapped. Oh, wait a second. Come on now. What are you afraid of? What could possibly be so fearful? People want your help. You need to deliver them the help they want. I sat with one of my other estate planning seminar people the other day, and she was a nurse. And during COVID, where she was at, wanted her to do ridiculous things without even any extra pay. And that was dealing with COVID and this and that. So she elected to leave her job and become a traveling nurse. She was okay working with COVID and going into COVID centers that they had set up around the country, but she wanted to be paid more for that because nobody else wanted to do it. So she gave up her job where they weren't going to give her more. And she went to become a traveling nurse and got more pay and got to eat more. And because she went out there and overcame fear that other people had to deliver the service that people needed. I said, what? I said, you weren't afraid? She goes, no, I did what I had to do. I provided for my family. I went to New York. I went to Chicago. I went to this place, went to that place. I said, all COVID places, all COVID, like COVID centers. She goes, yep. I was a traveling nurse. She goes, I made a good amount of money those 3 years. Crazy. What some people do with fear and what other people do with fear. Remember, if you ever feel like you're out there all alone, all you need to do is pick up the phone. And we'll be there. Yes, we will. You've got a friend. I have to take this off. It's getting hot in here. My first year here, I was calling carriers left and right. And if you've not called carriers, you've got to start calling carriers. I mean, I got to know the underwriters by their first name, last name, date of birth, children. I mean, Andy said it before in the past, and we've done this a few times in the past, where you send an underwriter flowers, or you send an underwriter a thank you note. The fact of the matter is that we have fellow agents, we have growing up lines, we have President's Club, we have corporate office, we have Ivy Wilson, we have Gina Hawks, we have Chris Norris and his team, and we also have all the carriers that you could call and you could ask questions and lean into and learn more, because you're inquiring and trying to find out how to help your client. And you need to be able to do that and know that you can do that. When you're out there and you feel like you're all alone, just pick up your phone and we'll be there. A dog in the hunt, Andy loves this, and I love the statement too. A dog in the hunt ain't got no fleas. Nothing matters except the mission. That dog ain't feeling nothing right now. He don't feel the tick. He don't feel the flea. He don't feel the hunger. He don't feel the pain. All he sees is the target, and the mission is to get that target. The question is are you letting things get to you that are disrupting your ability to perform, to produce? Stop it. Like Bob Newhart says, stop it. Stop it. Never have a scarcity mindset. Man, right there, people go like, I ain't going to shop in those there woods. There ain't even hardly no woods to shop in. Or stop shopping, hunting. I ain't going to hunt in those there woods. There ain't even no woods to hunt in. That's a scarcity mindset. There's nothing there. I need the forest to be thick, so I know there's animals out there hiding, and there's things to be found. Don't have a scarcity mindset. Clients are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. At the time, it was the biggest annuity in our company's history. I wrote $1 million annuity off of an A3 lead that I knocked on the client's door. If you would have sold this client's house, you wouldn't have think they had 2 nickels to rub together. If you would have sold their front yard and the way they had vehicles on top of blocks in their front yard and the neighborhood they lived in, you wouldn't have thought they had 2 nickels to rub together. She had $1 million at Publix, where she had worked for 38 years. And I rolled that money. And boy, did I get paid some honey. Don't. You should have saw the door. The door was filthy. The door had dirt all over it, but it was not a well-kept home. It was not a well-kept neighborhood. I'll never forget, back in Circuit City, we had a farmer walk into Circuit City, West Palm Beach, nasty looking. Just came out of the field, nasty looking. And nobody was getting around him. Nobody wanted to be around him. And finally, a manager approached him, and it wasn't me, it was my store, but one of my managers approached him and said, what can we do for you today, sir? He goes, I'm looking to buy 30 camcorders as presents for my people at the farm. He had like $50,000 in cash on him. But the sales counselors didn't want to waste their time because they felt he was a nobody. He was a nothing. And they were going to get nothing from talking to him. Make sure everyone you meet knows all the ways you can help them. I have a saying, everyone you meet and that you greet out there on the street should know who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. You don't know why God put you in front of a person he's putting you in front of. So please tell everybody you meet and greet out there on the street who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. It ain't that hard. Heck, I allow it to be done off my card. Have you registered for the next event? Have you registered for the Stage to Success? All you got to do is go to the Alliance Events, theallianceevents.com and register today. Don't delay. If you felt you learned anything today, this is nothing compared to what you'll learn at our corporate office on April 4th to the 6th. There is more to learn to become a great sales hunter. Get to this event to learn more. April 4th to April 6th. You need to be there and not be square. Trying to rhyme, make it fun. But anyhow, I know it's not 11, but I think I'm done. Thank you very much for chiming in. I hope what I've said to you today helps, it resonates, and you can get out there and start helping more families and providing solutions to what they need. God bless and take care, everybody. I'm out.